last time we talked about 3 types of case studies, and we'll dwell more on the closed-ended kind of case study. If you haven't seen that part, I will be leaving a link in the description box below, so you can go through that link to access that path. Today we shall be looking at the open-ended kind of case study. The open-ended kind of case study is quite different from the one we did the last time. In the open-ended kind of case study, just like we were meant to know in the first part of this topic, is ambiguous when the questions are presented. And like I said, most times no question, visible question, might be seen at the end of the passage. The approach in attempting the open-ended kind of case study is also unique, but not without some advantages. I will give us a brief rundown on how to attempt it, but we shall also, at the end of the rundown rather, consider an example that will give us further light into how to attempt this kind of problem. Now, the open-ended kind of case study require that after you have carefully gone through the passage, you start by summarizing what you think are the key points, the key or the central message of the passage in very concise and in a brief manner. This should be spelled out. If you do this successfully, even without having the knowledge to the answer of the question, you've succeeded in fetching yourself some scores. Now, after you are done with summarizing the passage, you move to stating the problems you might have identified in the passage. The problems could be major or minor, which I will be talking about later on. You try and differentiate this. Now, when you are doing your presentation, you make the examiner understand you that you have left one stage to the other just with the use of a paragraph. You leave a paragraph and then you start this next stage after your summary. Now, after you are done with stating the problems, you go to the next paragraph. You state the implication of the problems to all the parties involved. If there is just one party, you state the implication to that one party. And if there are several other parties, how does these problems affect all the parties involved? When you are done with that, you move to the next paragraph where you state all the possible solutions that you think can address the problems that you have stated in stage 2, paragraph 2. When you are done with stating all the possible solutions that you think can address the problems, you move to the next paragraph. You select the best solution for the examiner. And when you are done with that, you move to the final paragraph where you give a step-by-step information on how to implement the best solution. So this is why the open-ended kind of case study is most times considered to be very tedious. But I assure you that your scores can be easily fetched if you follow this principle. You may not know the answer to the question, but you should be able to summarize the question. That will give you some mark. You should be able to state the problems. That will also fetch you some mark. You should be able to also state the implication of the problems. That will fetch you another mark before you then prove to the examiner that you know how to deal with the problem based on your previous knowledge of, management and marketing and how to deal with all these things and strategy and the rest of them. So that is how to attempt an open-ended kind of case study. We shall be looking at one of the examples in the Fundamentals of Business Policy and Strategy by Dr. Dixon Ogbeche. So if you have not gotten this book, I please urge you to get it. It will do you a whole lot of good. Please get this book. Majority of what we are discussing has been dealt with in this book. The case study we shall be looking at is the case that has to do with Olulu fragrance. Miss Bolus went for her usual weekend shopping at Jankara Market and stumbled upon Olulu fragrance, a lady's perfume. On sample trial, she found the perfume exquisite and wondered why people have not been buying it. She then decided to trace the manufacturer so that she can become a distributor of the product. However, given the fact that she has little marketing background, she decided to contact you, a consultant, for advice. With a careful observation of this story, a lot of key points have been raised in the story. So you start first by summarizing the key issues of the story, the key message, the central message, and in just simple statement or sentence. Miss Bolus wants to become a distributor with little marketing experience of a product that suffers from low patronage. Simple. That's just the summary of the whole story. Miss Bolus, who have little marketing experience, wants to become a distributor of a product that suffers from low patronage. That is the central story. With this, you have your score or some marks. And then you move to the next paragraph, which requires you to state the problems. What is the problem in the summary I just gave? The simple issue there, if you look at it very well, you realize that Miss Bolu has little marketing knowledge. That's a problem. And secondly, Olulu fragrance is suffering from low patronage. They are having low sales based on Miss Bolu's observation. These are two key problems in the story. But how do we identify the major from the minor problem between these two? Like I said before, I will give you an illustration. You have a man with little experience or no experience in driving, and he was given a car that is faulty to drive. What do you think is going to happen at the end of the day? Most definitely, it will be chaos. An inexperienced driver behind the wheel of a faulty car is a problem. And on the other angle, when you give an experienced driver a faulty car to drive, most definitely, with the experience of this driver, he will be able to maneuver. There will be less issues if an experienced driver takes over the same faulty car. So, which is the main issue between an experienced driver and a faulty car? Most definitely, it is the inexperienced driver. Why? It is so because whenever the solution to a problem has a ripple effect on other problems, that problem is definitely the key problem or the main problem. Minor problems, when solutions are proffered to minor problems, they have little or no effect on other problems. So the issue here is, if you give or solve the problem of the faulty car and hand it over to a man that has no experience in driving, you still have a major issue. The main issue is deal with the faulty driver. Even if the car is bad, deal with the inexperienced driver rather. Even if the car is still faulty, there will still be some level of progress. So when we come back to the story of Olulu Fragrance, Miss Bolu's inexperience is a major problem. It's a major problem. Even though the product is suffering from low patronage, yes, there might be several reasons, but with an experienced marketer, this product, Olulu Fragrance, will still might just be able to overcome the challenge of low patronage. So when you've done this, you move to the third paragraph, which has to do with the implication of the problems that you have listed in paragraph 2 on all parties involved. In this case, the first party here is Miss Bolus herself. When she has little marketing knowledge and embarks on becoming a distributor of this fragrance or product that has low patronage, she may end up suffering losses. And on the part of the manufacturer, Miss Bolus, being a distributor, is automatically a representative of the manufacturer and his firm. So with a bad representative, how far would you expect your product to fly? Not too far. Your image as a company also will not go too far because of your bad representative. So these are the implications. You've been able to deal with the three stages. Now you move to the fourth stage. The fourth paragraph, you profile all possible solutions that you think will be able to address this issue. What are the solutions to dealing with the problems that have been listed in paragraph 2? Number 1, if we should tackle with the issue of inexperience of Miss Bolus in marketing, Miss Bolus have to understand that when you want to be an effective distributor, when you want to have an excellent distributorship, you must have a good understanding of, number 1, the product that you want to market. You understand the product in terms of its performance, in terms of its reliability, and in terms of its competitive strengths in the landscape of the business or of the environment. What do I mean? As a distributor, Mrs. Bolus is going to be, or she is, the gap between, the bridge rather, between the manufacturer and the buyers or the public. Now, she is required to have good knowledge of the product as to be able to advise buyers on the product. And for her to have this good knowledge of the product, the best way to do that is to be a first-hand user. She must be able to procure this product and make use of it meticulously so that she can be in the best position to advise potential buyers. She also has to understand the nature of the product and its competitive edge in the landscape of the market. With this knowledge, it will help her in selecting the best channel, marketing channel, to convey this product to the end users. Number 2 thing Ms. Bolus need to work on or need to address, Ms. Bolus will need to approach the manufacturer. She needs to find out his business plan, his marketing strategy, his goals and objectives for his product. All of these will help her to properly position the product for optimal distribution. She also needs to strike a good bargain with the manufacturer. She needs to establish a decent contract, because ultimately Mrs. or Miss Bolus will share in risk with the manufacturer. The risk of selling and the risk of credit provision. This is how it works in most cases. When a distributor approaches a manufacturer for them to offer him or her their product for distribution, an initial deposit is usually made, and then products are released to the distributor that far outweighs this initial deposit, with the hopes that when the distributor returns after sales, the balance will be made. But in some cases, expectation meets with failure. So it becomes a risk to the manufacturer. And sometimes also, some of these products may end up being damaged or spoiled in the process of trying to sell them or market them. To the distributor, it is also expected that he or she will provide credit facility to the potential buyer or customer, with the hopes that after sales are made by the customer, they will make balance. Most times, or in some cases, it doesn't work out that way. It becomes risk to the distributor. So overall, there should be an agreement, a formal agreement between the distributor, in this case Ms. Bolus, and the manufacturer of Olulu fragrance. The third factor that Ms. Bolus must consider is the price, which is very crucial. The price of the product must be worth it. Does the price match the characteristic properties of the product? What is the pricing strategy? Is the pricing strategy aimed at market skimming or market penetration or economy marketing? All of these pricing strategies have their different forms of application when it comes to marketing. Some firm will adopt the market skimming strategy, in which the manufacturer raises the price of the product slightly above the prices of similar products in the market, just to create the perception that his product is of superior quality to the buyer. Some other manufacturers may decide to adopt the market penetration strategy, in which the manufacturer reduces or lowers the price of his product slightly below the prices of similar products in the market so as to attract buyers and increase sales. So it depends on the pricing strategy the manufacturer is adopting for his product. Ms. Bolus would need to understand this. Number 4 reason or factor Ms. Bolus would need to consider are the customers. In this case, the target market. Who are they? How do they buy? Where do they buy from? And what do they buy? These are questions Ms. Bolus would need to find out. And as a distributor, it is your duty to ensure proper inventory management. Inventory management in this case also involves warehousing and material handling. The products need to be handled carefully. In the event that no sales are achieved, they can be returned safely to the manufacturer. As a distributor, she also needs to provide transportation for the product. She also will provide promotion in form of advertisement, in form of sales promotion, in forms of public relation for the product. These are some of the things that she needs to put into proper perspective. Now, when we move to the other aspect of the problem of low patronage, there is one key issue with low patronage, and that has to do with the failure to meet with buyers or customers' buying requirements. When the buying requirements of customers are not met, such products may suffer low patronage. Requirements such as the price. If the product is perceived not to worth the price, then it will not fly. Another requirement of buyers or customers is the product characteristic properties in terms of the quality and the quantity. If it doesn't meet with their expectation, the product will not be sold. Another requirement of customers is the place where the product is being located. The way a product is being distributed is very important, as this can have an impact on the perception of potential buyers. So the place where the product is marketed also has a great effect. Now, the 4th reason has to do with the promotion of this product. Like I said before, no matter how good your product is, without some basic form of promotion, you do not expect to attract buyers easily. So these are the 4 likely causes of low patronage. When we study the passage carefully, starting from the first line, the story stated that Miss Bolus visits this market on a weekly basis. On one of these occasions, where she went for her usual weekend shopping, she stumbled on this perfume that was being promoted, the free sampling exercise. What does this tell us? It tells us that there is every likelihood that this perfume is new, because if she was there the previous week or the previous weekend and she didn't notice it, and she's been there some other weekends yet she did not notice it, it means this product might be new. And as a new product, the only way to get it sold is what the manufacturer or the whoever is representing him is already carrying out, which is the promotion. So in terms of promotion, the product is being promoted. Promotion checked. The product is undergoing promotion. That cannot be the problem. The other reason we might want to lay hold on to is the product quality. But according to Ms. Bolus, she said on trying it out, the product seemed to be exquisite. So in terms of the quality, checked. The quality of the product is not the reason why the product is not being sold. The third reason could be the price of the product. Well, that was not stated in the story. It could be one reason, but it's not there. Ms. Bolus did not tell us about the price. But if the price was not right, then she would not have need to wonder why people were not buying. The price checked. The last reason is the place. Jankara Market. The place is very vital in determining the patronage a product may receive from potential buyers. If you have an exquisite product and such product also have a perceived high price, then it is most imperative for such products to be distributed in such a way that it can meet the customer's buying requirement. In this case, such distribution strategy should be the selective distribution strategy, in which selected outlets, not anyhow outlets, selected outlets within the environment or region where the product is being produced are cited to showcase the product. Because if your product is exquisite but you place it in the wrong location, you may discourage your buyers. So this might be the possible reason why the people were not buying. You have just proffered some solutions. We'll move to the next stage, which is what is the best solution to concerning everything to the question or to the problem on ground. The best solution is for Ms. Bolus to first of all buy the product, use the product, understand it, and then approach the manufacturer and follow all the guidelines that she needs to follow to becoming a distributor. When that is done, with the depending on the information that she gathers from all the process we listed above, she can then decide either to have an intensive or selective distribution of the product. So when we move to the final stage, the final paragraph of how to implement the best solution that has been proffered above. Number one, Ms. Bolu must study the product. And like we said, the best way for her to study the product is to be a first-hand user of the product. And then next, Ms. Bolu must sample the opinion of potential buyers and the public about the product. for her to be sure the actual reason why they are not buying. But the most probable reason, as stated above, is the place from factor. The most probable reason for the people not buying, as stated above, is the place function of the product. So Miss Bolus will have to sample the opinion of the market for her to be very, very sure of why they are not buying. The next point Miss Bolu would look at is to contact the manufacturer. When she has done her survey on the product and sampled the opinions of the public, she needs to contact the manufacturer to find out more about the product and also to understand the marketing strategy of the manufacturer. The next point she would need to look at is to capture the manufacturer's goals and objectives. She needs to know the business plan of the manufacturer, as we stated earlier on, and enter into a good and proper contract with the manufacturer. If she is satisfied with the information so far gotten from the manufacturer, then she can proceed to sourcing for warehouse and transportation of the product. And when that is done, she can then implement the promotional mix that will best stimulate sales based on the marketing objectives and policies of the organization. So with this, you have concluded with this question. You have concluded with a question. This is all that they are asking of in this particular question. So this is the end of the open case or open-ended case study. This is the end of the open-ended case study. The third kind of case study is the hybrid. The hybrid case study is just a combination of the closed-ended and the open-ended. So with the example we did the last time, coupled with this one, if you find a question of that nature, you will be able to tackle it. Thanks for listening.